hell of a week playing through two lengthy titles. I finished Fallout New Vegas last Friday and moved right on to Spellbound Entertainment and Dreamcatcher Interactive's new title, Arcania Gothic 4. Released last Thursday for the Xbox 360, PlayStation 3, and PC for between $40 and $60. I was able to play through the PC version and get a feel for the 360 version so I could compare the two for you. Now, I haven't played any Gothic games, but this title had remarkable similarities to Risen, which I reviewed earlier this year, so I'll be referencing that a lot. If computer role-playing games get your blood pumping like they do for me, let's check out Arcania Gothic 4.
Midland was burning, for Robar II was dead, his realm crumbling. His crown now rested on the brow of Robar III, once a champion of Enos, who has sworn to reunite the realm.
The overall story in Gothic 4 is nothing we haven't seen before. You're a nameless hero, a shepherd on a small island, about to marry the local farmer's daughter, when all hell breaks loose and the king of a neighboring kingdom invades and slaughters your entire village. As the sole survivor, of course you vow to avenge your loved ones and set out right away to the attacker's homeland to track down and murder the king. You run into an old friend who recommends you first search for an ancient temple that contains a magic anvil, which could be used to construct a powerful weapon to aid you on your quest. Finding the temple actually takes the majority of the time though, as you'll travel through various towns, performing favors for the locals to gather information and equipment. But all of this really is just a facade for something much larger affecting the entire world, and guess who just so happens to be the chosen one and gets to put a stop to it all. The series of events that lead to the final battle are pretty sweet, but I really had no clue what the ending cinematic was, and lots of the time it was tough for me to figure out exactly what was going on. I understood the overall story arc, but I couldn't keep up with all the names of the people everywhere. The story's just kind of bland, but that's perfectly acceptable to me because the gameplay was damn fun. Gothic 4 took me around 20 hours to complete, but I could probably have spent another 10 hours or so exploring, completing additional side quests, and hunting down all the hidden treasures. Like Risen, the island that the game takes place on is freaking massive, but you can't teleport around like you'd expect. Instead, teleport runes are scattered here and there, but they work in pairs, so you'd essentially have to daisy chain between them to get from one side of the map to the other. The island is also broken down into several large zones, but once you exit the zone, you can't backtrack until right near the end of the game. You'll participate in a large number of quests throughout your adventure, but I think this is the first game that I played that keeps track of quest progress even before you have it. That is, if you say kill 8 bugs and then get a quest to kill 10 bugs, well, the quest will automatically be up to date at 8 of 10 when you get it. If you recall back from Risen, the inventory, quest, and map management system on the Xbox 360 version of the title was terrible when compared to the PC equivalent. Gothic 4 makes some progress in this department, but again, the PC version is far superior. Because there's no weight or encumbrance, your inventory will get pretty bloated, and a mouse just traverses this screen much more efficiently. One thing I didn't particularly care for though was that you can't view what you currently have equipped when you're looking at merchant goods, so you never know if the item you're about to purchase is better than what you have already. Finally, this game is pretty resource intensive. I have a pretty powerful gaming rig, and when I maxed out the settings, I was averaging only about 30 frames per second the entire game. Granted, this was quite playable at that frame rate. I think I would have just enjoyed it more at 60. I love the gameplay of third-person computer RPGs. It's so much fun to watch your character progress, gain new powerful weapons and abilities, and just beat the crap out of all the monsters. Overall, the gameplay mechanics are nearly identical to that of Risen, except Gothic 4 doesn't have any puzzles to solve or insta-gib traps to avoid. Your character is classless, so as you earn experience and gain levels, points may be spent in a talent tree to grant you access to the game's 3 upgradable spells, Firebolt, Frostbolt, and Lightning, advance your skills in melee and range combat, and even learn to sneak and pick locks. Early in the game, it's pretty fun to combine all these skills together, but eventually you'll just get to a point where Fireball becomes pretty much spammable and just destroys the enemies, really making most encounters pretty trivial. That is, assuming you maxed out Fireball like I did. Combine this with the fact that health and mana recharge over time, and the combat becomes a breeze if you're good at kiting. Now, there are no requirements for weapons, armor, or consumables, so you can mix and match your gear however you like. If you want to be a plate mail, sword and board fireball casting son of a bitch, so be it. There's also items scattered everywhere, and these can be combined together in a pretty simple crafting system to create your own gear, or more importantly, any number of the nearly limitless variety of potions. While all this is quite fun, and I really did enjoy myself through this playthrough, I didn't really feel immersed into a rich world like I did with Risen. I didn't ever feel a sense of danger, and there were no repercussions for my actions. For instance, in Risen, you couldn't steal things from people or they would react violently to you. In Gothic 4, you just do whatever you want. The graphics in the PC version of this title are absolutely beautiful. Not as pretty as those of Risen, but really beautiful regardless. When compared to the Xbox 360 version, you can really see how much better these types of games look on a machine that can handle them. But there's no built-in support for anti-aliasing, which was kind of a letdown. While the environments and weather effects look great, the character models are actually reused quite a bit, which again really prevents you from getting fully immersed into the huge world. The music in the game is wonderful, and it goes great with the environments that you'll travel through, but aside from the main character, the voice acting is absolutely terrible. Some of the characters are just freaking crazy, and one lady was voiced by 2 different actors in the same paragraph. I know I recognize the voice of the main character, but I couldn't put my finger on it. Now, the voices also don't sync up with the lips very well, though I've got to assume this is because the game supports multiple languages, and I'm guessing English is not the primary one.
Now I'll recover Melgan's dagger from his grave so we can get married.
You want to marry me?
Don't you?
Sure, it just comes so quickly.
While my overall impression of Arcania Gothic 4 was positive, I have a lot of mixed feelings about my experience with the title. I think I was spoiled by Risen earlier this year, as it was a better game in nearly every regard, but I don't think that should discredit this title. This is still a really fun game and one that you should totally check out if you enjoy this genre. If you don't have a PC powerful enough to handle this bad boy, you might still check out the console version, but really, these types of games were designed to be enjoyed on the PC. The inventory, quest, and map management system is far superior on the PC, and the power of today's PC's graphics simply blow the consoles out of the water. I know this genre is not for everyone, but I absolutely love it. So what are your thoughts? Leave your questions and comments below. Check out the full write-up and screenshots over at ZeitgeistGameReview.com. Stay up to date by following me on Twitter and Facebook, and make sure to check out all of the other great gaming entertainment on the Game Station. Don't forget to subscribe and press the thumbs up button. Thanks for watching.